All right, I'm going to call our June 16th meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Millbrook Library to order at 7 o'clock and we do have a quorum. And we are recording as per our regulations of the open meetings law while we are participating by Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today I sent around the minutes from the May 19th meeting. I hope people had a chance to take a look at those. If there's any discussion or comments or changes, otherwise I would entertain a motion to accept the May 19th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Cecilia, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Mark. Okay, and all in favor? We can just raise our hands. Okay, looks like everybody approved. So the May 19th meeting minutes are approved. We don't have any public or employee visitors present, so we will move on. President's report. There were a few items that we had, I guess, fell through the cracks in February due to the leadership transition. And then, of course, the pandemic took over. And one of the things was the annual disclosure statements that all board members are required to fill out. So I'm going to send those around to everyone following this meeting. So then you can just electronically sign it and then email it back to me, and we'll have those all set for another year. I'm also going to send around the board committee lists, which I've updated, and we can just make sure that there have been a couple of additions and changes. So I just want to confirm that with everybody and see if there's anybody who wants to join another committee if they're not currently on a committee that they want to be. So we'll do that as well. I'll send that around after this meeting. And then the other thing that was supposed to happen in February was the re-election of some trustees whose terms were up. They include myself, Sarah, Cecilia, and Michael. I've talked to each one of them, and they're interested in being considered and continuing for another term. So I would like to, I think we'll do it one at a time so we can, those of us who are being voted on, we can abstain. So for the first trustee, I am proposing that Michael Sloan be considered for re-election for another 3-year term. Is there a motion to accept?
Michael Sloan.
Okay.
I accept.
Okay, and a second? Second, Matt. Okay, Matt is second. So all in favor of re-election for a 3-year term for Michael? All right, very good.
Permanent spot.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't have to put who seconds all these things, right? I can just say there was a motion to accept Michael Sloan. Is that good enough?
Yeah, I think so. And then second it, and then
Seconded,
yeah,
and then
that's
approved.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so the next is for, and there was one abstention. You just want to make note of that. Michael would have abstained from his own vote. Cecilia Wyman is also up for re-election for another 3-year term. So I would like to make a motion to re-elect Cecilia for another 3 years. Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Sarah, and second, Matt. Okay, and all approve Cecilia? Yay. Terrific. And then Sarah Gonzalez also is up for another term, or for a 3-year term. Is there a motion to approve Cecilia or Sarah for a 3-year term? Matt? Second, Cecilia. Okay.
We got in it at the same time.
All in favor? Yay. All right, good. Great, thank you. And then I don't know if somebody would like to nominate me for re-election. I feel awkward doing that.
So moved.
Okay, for another 3-year term. And a second? All right, all in favor? Yeah, I won't
Aye.
vote for myself.
Aye.
Okay. Great. All right, thank you, everybody. And thank you all for agreeing to stay on for another 3-year term. All right, so that was that business. I just want to make note that the Mid-Hudson, I don't know if you all saw the bulletin that came out today. They made announcement that all the trustee education series is going to be completely online this fall, and that the schedule will be announced in subsequent weekly bulletin coming up. So just keep your eyes out. They're always informative and interesting webinars series that are good for all trustees to attend if they can. All right, I think that's all I have. Any questions for the president's report? Anything we've discussed so far? All right, well, I would like to then turn it over to Courtney. We did send around her report in a Word document, but we would like to hear from her in person here.
So hello everyone, as official director of the Millbrook Library for the first time.
Yay.
On to week 3, and so far so good. I am still very happy, so I haven't been scared away yet. We started curbside on the 11th, curbside pickup, and it's been received very well by our patrons. Everybody that we've talked to has just been really happy that we're providing services again. I think as of the end of today, we've had 40 pickups so far, which is pretty good for like 4 days. Our staff has been amazing. They did such a good job just jumping right in, learning the new system, because it's stuff that they're used to, but it's presented in like a whole different way. And they're all really good about cleaning, wearing PPE. And I've just been so impressed with all of them. So they have been phenomenal. So that's going well so far. We're gonna keep doing curbside, providing the service plan C is approved at this meeting, probably for another couple of weeks, just so we can get everything in place for the next service level. And I think even after we move on, we still want to keep offering curbside pickup, just because it seems like a thing that a lot of people like. So if it's something that our staff feels comfortable with and can do pretty easily without too much effort, I think we're going to keep doing that, because people seem to like it so far. In terms of the COVID-19 next steps, the next step really is to approve the next level of service plan that I've drafted. And that basically moves into us allowing people into the building and using the computers and like copy machine and faxing by appointment. So it's kind of like a big step, because we're letting people into the building for the first time. But like I said, even if this is approved today, I want to wait until we have our plexiglass up, until our computers are distanced 6 feet apart and everything's set up before we invite people in, just to make sure that our staff is safe and the patrons are safe. So just because if this is approved tonight, it doesn't mean we're automatically jumping into it. There's still going to be a little bit of time to transition into it. For building updates, I just wanted to say that the construction grant application is due August 7th, if that was something that we were still interested in. I know we missed the intent to apply deadline, but as long as we fill that out and submit it, we can still submit an actual application. So I double checked with Casey at Mid-Hudson today, and that is what he told me. In terms of collection updates, I've purchased, my first thing that I did was I purchased a bunch of new ebooks and e-audiobooks on Overdrive, because of a lot of our patrons were waiting for things. And there's been, I think, over 30 checkouts so far in like 12 days, which seemed pretty good for me for ebooks. So that means people are actually checking them out, which is nice. And there actually are patrons checking them out, which is doubly nice. I also placed an order from Baker & Taylor for adults books and kids books to catch up on the latest bestsellers, just because nothing's been ordered for 3 months. So we're a little bit behind in terms of our collection development, but it's not too bad. And then I purchased same thing, like 15 DVDs from Amazon, just to catch up on the latest hits that have been released on DVD. So the Jody actually has the DVDs from Amazon. I believe they were shipped to her house. And then the Baker & Taylor order should be shipping shortly. In terms of development and grant updates, I'm working with Diana. I have on my report whether or not we should apply for the adult literacy grant offered by Mid-Hudson, and I talked to her today and we are going to apply for it. So I submitted my intent to apply application for that. And that basically is roughly $1,000 that we can use towards adult literacy programming. And Diana was pretty excited because she thinks it would be a good grant to fund a financial literacy workshop that she was going to do earlier this year, but had to be postponed because of the pandemic. So submitted the intent to apply for that, which is good. In terms of the Mid-Hudson library system, I just wanted to share the latest thing that came up at the last Directors Association meeting, which is Mid-Hudson is really facing significant cuts this year. And the DA has voted to approve certain funds to go to Mid-Hudson in terms of like a pot of money that we had for Sierra training. But in addition to that, it was suggested that libraries contribute their local library state aid funds to Mid-Hudson to help them offset the impending budget cuts for 2021. So in our case, that would be approximately $1,419. So it's not something we have to decide now, but I just wanted to put it out there that that was an idea that was being floated around among the libraries. There's also a new budget bill signed by Governor Cuomo on April 3rd, includes an amendment to the labor law that requires New York employers to provide sick leave to employees, including part-time. So I have to double check if this applies to our clerks or not, but I'm presuming it does. And it goes into effect September 30th. So that's just an update with that. So in terms of personnel, Tom Finnegan is ready to give his notice at the Hyde Park Library and become the full-time head of circulation pending board approval. And I have to say, Tom has been absolutely incredible over the past couple of weeks, just helping me learn things. He's been incredibly patient, answered all my questions. And just as I'm taking over this position, I feel really grateful that he was the one doing it before me, because he was very organized and methodical about how he did things. And I think he should really be commended for the great job he did as interim director, and hopefully he can be approved as the full-time head of circulation moving forward, because he is a really incredible asset to the library right now. In addition to that, I would like to resume the search for an early literacy coordinator, because right now I'm planning the summer reading program and it'd be nice to help doing that. So I would like to suggest raising the pay to $17 an hour. I know Tom said that the pay had been adjusted to $16 an hour, but he was still having trouble hiring people just because the rate of pay is pretty competitive among the libraries right now. So there was another library that somebody worked at and they were interested in moving here, but they couldn't make that decision because they were getting paid $17 an hour at that library. So again, something to consider. And just under the personnel topic, I'd really like to hire people that are going to stay for a while, especially since it seems like there's been so much transition lately. And I think there just needs to be a little bit of a consistency with staffing, if that makes sense. So I'd like to hire somebody that would like to consider staying long-term like I'm doing. So if we can make that investment, that would be very nice. In terms of programming, I'm working on the new summer reading program for this year. I have a plan for the kids, and it's basically going to be, there's not going to be any prizes this year just because we don't want to have to deal with germs and things getting touched and passed along to other people. So for this year, we're going to do basically bags that they can take, and each bag is going to have a recipe in it, a simple craft, a writing prompt, and a scavenger hunt that they can do outside. So it's kind of providing parents with an opportunity to obtain easy activities for their kids to do over the summer. It also promotes early literacy skills. And the theme of the summer reading program is Imagine Your Story. So each week we're having a different setting. So the first week's going to be space, and they're going to get like a rocket ship to paint, and a scavenger hunt where they go outside and look at the sky for different constellations and the moon and things like that. And then the recipe is moon cakes, which is basically like a rice cake with peanut butter and banana slices. So it's a moon. And then their writing prompt is to imagine that they're on a rocket ship and they land on an alien planet, and they have to write their story or draw their picture that explains what they find. So that's like the same kind of format that I'm going to use for all 6 weeks. It's designed to be very simple. We just put everything into the bag. The kids take it. There's no contact for parents who are more comfortable with no contact. So,
Question for that?
oh, did somebody have a question?
Yes, I just want to know, like, how do you, like, do the kids also share afterwards? Like, do you incorporate something, you know, so it's not just taking it to their home, but giving an opportunity for them to share about what they've created or their writing or something like that?
Yeah, that's actually something I'm toying with but haven't fully committed to yet. Is I was thinking it'd be really cool at the end of the summer if kids could share their stories with us, and we could put it into like a book or a binder of some kind and then have it at the library so everybody could see it.
That'd
And
be really cool. Or encourage them to post on our Instagram or
Exactly.
Facebook, or, you know, just.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Social media photos will be encouraged. So in addition to this, I did book an online children's yoga class for 4 weeks in July. It's with the lady, I believe her organization is Mindful Yoga with Liz. And I've seen her do yoga classes for kids before. She's phenomenal. And she's going to incorporate the whole Imagine Your Story idea into her weekly yoga classes. So it's something that we can offer online for parents over the summer that's still being safe with pandemic restrictions. And just to wrap it up, I've been to a couple of meetings so far this month. On the 2nd, I met with Mark to discuss finances, which was super helpful. I went to the Mid-Hudson director briefing on the 4th. On the 8th, I met with Meredith and Elliot about the trust fund accounts, which was also super helpful. And then I attended the Directors Association meeting on the 10th. And that's it so far. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything.
I just want to say thank you. It sounds amazing already.
No problem.
I'm like, I wrote, I'm like, I want to be a kid again. Can I come to the yoga program? I want to do that spaceship. I'm like, I want to know what all the other weeks are. It sounds like, well, thank you.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had a busy couple weeks.
But it's been awesome at the same time. So
I have a question, and I don't know, it's probably not a question for you, but if we consider increasing the pay for someone that we're looking for, how many hours is that person? And then question for Mark, maybe, like, what does that, you know, would that mean for our finances, or you too? You know, like how, I mean, $1 more doesn't sound a lot, but like, you know, if it's every week and, you know, I don't know. I was just wondering what that would be for us for finances.
I believe, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I believe the number of hours is like 22, 21 and a half, somewhere around there. And that's kind of why I was bringing it up before I did anything, is because I wanted to kind of talk about that and see if it would work with our finances and if it would be possible.
So do you have a current job description that you're working on, or you're going to revamp, or?
I have the same one that Tom used before previously, and it's pretty much the same thing from when he was searching, so.
Sort of qualifications would the early literacy position require?
I think we didn't require any degrees as far as I know. And I should have it in front of me, but I don't. But experience with children would be helpful. I'd looked for somebody who knew like the early literacy elements and how to engage children in all the elements of early literacy, not just reading, and who was also good at parent outreach. Those are the main things that I'm looking for, parent engagement and outreach. And they're not just somebody that knows how to make crafts. You know, there's got to be a little bit of the science behind it and why they do the early literacy activities that they do. So I don't believe we required a degree, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to double check. And
one of the questions I might have on
yeah.
that one is, if the hours are 20, for instance, we have a number of preschool teachers at Grace and as well across the street who are kind of qualified in this area.
Mhm.
What hours would it be? They're busy from 9 to 12.
So in this case, it was kind of, I think it's flexible because the position has been vacant for so long. I'm new. I don't really know what was done in the past in terms of hours. So if, as long as it works with the rest of the staff schedule and what we have going on now, the hours could be pretty flexible.
And what is your thinking? It sounds like you want to move on this obviously as soon as possible. When would you hope to post the job position?
I'd like to go as soon as either the $17 an hour is approved or rejected. As soon as I know that, I'd like to start putting it out there and looking for somebody.
So would we need to approve a $17 an hour position?
Mhm.
And how would we go about that, Jody?
Well, does personnel want to make a recommendation, or how would we want to do that?
I think, Mark, a question was directed to you, is the impact on the budget. Maybe like $3 times 20.
I don't want to be like all like the treasurer and stuff like that.
Oh, that's the position you have.
You know, I'm always gonna be just myself. I'm always gonna take the approach of like, you know, we're not gonna get the funding from Unionvale, and then at the same time, I mean, there's nothing saying anyone can't apply. I mean, yeah, I guess it's going to incentivize maybe more people to apply, but if it's a great candidate, you know, we're always open to negotiation. Who knows, even if we do keep it at 16 or 17 and they're fantastic and they ask for 18, we might say yes anyways. So, I mean, yeah, in terms of budget, we should be okay. I mean, this year, obviously, we had, you know, with the personnel changes, we're not close to where we were year to date last year, but next year we might not have personnel changes and we're going to have to, you know, maintain that budget and everything like that. But it should be, I mean, we're $1 with those hours, we're looking at like $500.
Well, we
It's-
have
it's
that
not-
position in the budget now, don't we, at a slightly less per hour?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
16, right? So it's $1 for the hours over the years. So it's $500. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem for that. I think it's an important position. It's not, you know, yeah, it's developing kids. It's key. And I mean, Matt, from your perspective, because you have a lot of people employed in that area, what are they looking for? What would be an amount you'd expect them to be incentivized for? Does 17 make sense?
Well, yeah, I think 17, especially if you're in the area already and working in a preschool environment and could use some more hours. If it's a flex time position. And of course, it also occurs to me that we have, beginning in September, another cohort of young college grads in our Grace Year program who are fellows for a year. So but they're not, you know, I'd have to check the applicants to see if there's anybody with an interest in early childhood literacy. I think I'll ask Deborah Kokonis, our director of the preschool, what she thinks. I don't really know, but I think the pay is perfectly competitive, or is competitive. It would be, I think it would work for people, especially if because they're only working 3 or 4 hours a day at the preschool. They could supplement it with an afternoon if that works for both sides. So that's at least one pocket of people that may be interested. And of course, across the street at the Millbrook, at MEC, I forget what it stands for, there's another crew. You know, we've kept everybody on thanks to the PPP program, even though it's been sort of an online. We just had our preschool graduation drive-by yesterday, actually. It was very
Oh,
cute,
that's so
very
cute.
cute. But, you know, it's a talented cohort of people, but they haven't been fully employed, I don't think, at all. So I would imagine this is a good time to find folks.
And I like how Courtney was saying to look for somebody steady that's interested in staying. And if it's flexible, you know, and can change, go around their schedule, I wouldn't mind, the $17 plus it being flexible and finding somebody that's, obviously we don't know and life happens, so you never know for sure. But I think it would be nice to look for somebody that's from the area and wants to stay for a while. It would be nice.
Yeah, or maybe Jones has taken a long enough break, and she wants to come back.
They'll come back flexible.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Tom had he struggled with the applicant pool that he got the last time around. So it would be interesting if we could possibly reach out ourselves to
Oh, I don't have a plug.
people that we think might be interested too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, with current employment levels, there's probably going to be a larger pool to draw from. Who knows? So.
All right. Well, it sounds like we're all in agreement for the approval of the $17 an hour for this early literacy position.
Okay.
Is that right? Do I have everybody's approval? Okay.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right, so I will start putting that out there as soon as I can.
All right.
But
Great.
at the end of this week, I'll have stuff up. I'll send it to the Mid-Hudson Bulletin, and we'll start seeing what we can find. Who we can find.
Yeah. Share it with Matt.
Yeah, send it to the board too.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Courtney. Are there any other questions or comments for Courtney on her report?
Good luck, Courtney. It sounds like you're plunging right in. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Looks like we don't have any communication or correspondence to review or discuss. So I'm going to move on to financial reports, which Mark started alluding to a little bit. He did send around some material today, but I will pass it on to Mark now.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I hope you all reviewed it, and I'm good. All right. Next portion. All right. So the bills, I've looked at the accounts. I imagine they're still being paid. Maybe I doubt we're going to be meeting in person next month. So Courtney, if you could talk to Tom, and I know Erica prepares like a list of all the bills that are paid on a bi-weekly schedule and with a checkoff list, and usually I'm initialing that. So maybe if you could load that up for the next meeting, and that way everyone on the board can review what bills are being paid. It's a one-page checklist. You might have 20 of them because we haven't done it in a while, but usually there's just 2 per meeting. And then, what's my next part? So we can't approve the monthly bills, right? Per se, or?
Mark, could you just tell us a little bit? I mean, I looked at the balance sheet, but is anything impacting us due to this? Is government or lack of being open, or how does it change anything, just roughly?
Hasn't impacted us much. The biggest impact we've had in terms of income has been due to the lack of the Unionvale funding.
Right,
we get a big lump sum. Usually we're at about 90% from federal and state aid. We're about 80%. So Unionvale isn't like a make or break, but it's a small portion of it. For our contribution income to our budget, we're not really where we are year over year. We're doing a little bit better than last year. I think the prior year, 2018, we were doing absolutely fantastic. So maybe with some stability in the directorship role and, consistent fundraising programs and getting out of the slump, that'll pick up. But contributions isn't a huge portion of our income. It's mainly the government support, and we're pretty much there. And then another 50% of our income is from the trusts. So there's been fluctuation on that in terms of the value of the trusts. They've rebounded. I think now this week they've dropped again, but they're income derived equity. So we're going to get the income from them. So it's a matter of if we get like a little bonus sweep at the end of the year or not. But in terms of what's there, yeah, it fluctuates, but we're going to get the income. So, 95% of our income we're going to get this year. So we're very good in that sense. And then on the expense sense, we're much lower because of the personnel changes. We haven't been ordering as many, we have like 0 for like postage and supplies. We're a lot lower for getting books and our collection development. So most of that's down. The only items in terms of expenses that are staying consistent are like monthly or annual subscriptions with either like our internet services or MHLS services. So, well, yeah, most expenses are down. Income is only down a little bit. So we're in good shape, I'd say.
It doesn't seem, Courtney, from your report that there's going to be a huge amount of expense other than a little plexiglass and cleaning in reopening.
I think that's correct. We definitely have bought cleaning supplies. We bought the plexiglass, and we PPE. We brought some paper bags for curbside pickup for privacy, but the plexiglass was the most expensive thing, I think, so far. And I don't think moving forward, it'll just pretty much be restocking gloves and cleaning supplies. So we'll probably go through it a little bit faster than normal, but it shouldn't be anything drastic.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll touch base with Courtney to figure out how many monthly bills that we have to go back on and approve. But I think we can, if anyone would like to make a motion to approve the April 2020 financials, or if anyone has any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
I'll second. Or Matt.
Okay.
Or Michael.
Or Michael.
And the last bit I have is we haven't been doing that.
Can I ask a question? That we're approving the April 2020 financials?
Correct.
Thank you.
No problem.
All in favor, right?
Yeah, all in favor?
And then I would like to ask anyone who's on the finance committee, or if Jody, you could attach it to the next Zoom meeting, just to say if they want to convene 15 minutes prior, then we can do like our finance committee meeting. So like at 6:45. I believe it's me, Michael, you, Jody, Courtney, and I believe a couple other people.
I think Nikki and Kay had said they wanted to join the finance committee. Okay.
Yeah. Or if you want to come and attend and just see what it is, or if you have other additional questions, that'd be great.
Okay. Any other questions for Mark before we move on? Okay. So I'm going to move on to the committee reports. I guess I'll just start building and grounds. Do we have anything to report today?
No, I haven't done much in the buildings and grounds. In the last couple of months, it's been kind of crazy with my own work. But no, but in terms of Courtney, in terms of moving forward with getting funding, applying for funding, before August, I definitely want to work with you on that and getting that for some of the stuff that we need to do in terms of mechanical and all. I know I have numbers for the consultants all in, so I'll send that out in a summary so everybody can review that, and come up with a stab in the dark for a budget for doing the repairs, so we can get that paperwork in.
Good. Sounds good. I don't believe we have any development. Cecilia, do you have anything on the Friends or nothing to report? Okay. And no long-range planning. Nominating, I know that they're starting to work on finding some other potential board members to bring forth. So I know that process is underway. And for personnel, so we do want to officially appoint Tom as the head of circulation. First of all, I just want to, for the record, thank Tom for his serving as interim all these months. I think it was a little bit longer than he had planned on, and certainly things were not exactly normal for anybody. So I think he did a super job holding down the fort and keeping things going for everybody. So I want to officially thank him. And I think you may have seen a note from Carrie today that we got him a little gift on behalf of the board, a little token of appreciation for all his work during stepping up in this role. So we would just like to approve him as the full-time head of circulation at $22 per hour, and he'll be full-time, so he'll also be getting benefits along with that. So I would like to make a motion to approve him as the head of circulation starting June 22nd. Motion, Sarah, second. Okay, and we're all in favor of Tom as head of circulation? Okay, thank you. And then moving on to the policy, I sent around the draft service plan for the next phase of reopening that Courtney put together and shared with us. Did anyone have any questions on it? It makes for good reading.
It seems exhaustive. It sounds.
Yes, it was very long. I was like, gosh, there's another page. But thank you for highlighting. I was like, okay, I'm only going to read the highlighting stuff. That was very
I think all the details there, as far as I could tell.
There was one thing that that came up today that I wanted to propose adding onto it, onto the many pages.
Okay.
Diana and I were talking today about potentially doing like porch jams and outdoor concerts and things, and I think that would be okay to do in this next phase, provided everybody was social distancing and or wearing masks. So that was just something that I wanted to add in there to make sure that we could do it. I didn't officially put it in yet. I just wanted to kind of float the idea, but it came up today, and I think it'll be good as people start to get into the summer mode and want to be outside, and we can help them do that in a safe way. That's still
if I could intervene a little bit, just
Sure.
because I'm on the Millbrook Arts Group, I know we've been discussing this a lot because we have the concerts at the band shell, etc. And I know there's been a lot of discussion about what liability might come into play, and so I think it's a great idea, but it's really important to consider. I think there's a lot of factors to consider, and I could tell you exactly if you're interested in what they're looking into and sort of what they're basing their decisions on, if it would be helpful for us to make a decision, but they haven't arrived at a decision yet. I think right now they're canceled.
Okay, so we can hold off on this then and just see where things go moving forward.
But if you'd like, I'll gather some information and just sort of let you know what they're researching about the topic and see what applies to us, or if maybe we're thinking on a smaller scale and it's feasible, perhaps it's different. I don't know, but I can provide you with whatever information we're looking at.
That would be great. And then maybe it's something that we could do like an additional vote on later on, like an online vote. So it doesn't have to be part of it today.
Yeah, and maybe if the Millbrook Arts Group can't do what they're doing, maybe they consider helping doing something else.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments on the policy as distributed? No, okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the service level C limited access to library building plan going forward.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? All right, so we're good to go. And as Courtney mentioned, we've approved it, but that doesn't mean it's going to start right away. And she'll, as we get into the next phase and make sure we're ready, fully prepared before we move into that next phase. Excellent. And
Well done, Courtney.
Thank you.
do we have any other new business or any other items that we should discuss at this meeting?
I guess things have changed and probably no one's traveling as much as they usually do, but we usually always talk about what we're looking at for July and August in terms of meeting. I think last year, I don't know if we did August. I don't think anyone traveling. So I don't know if anyone say, hey, I might be away, or if it's feasible, or maybe we'll wait till we get closer to the date.
I am devoutly hoping I will not be here the second week of August. I have a beach reservation in Cape May. I hope I'm going. So
Yeah, I also don't know if I'm there. We weren't going to go, and then now it's changing. So our plans for August are also still up in the air, and I might not be here in August. So, but I know July I'll be here for sure. But so maybe we'll wait to see as we get closer to August what that looks like.
July, just FYI, or depending on how things go, I may not be here in July, but I will let you know.
Okay. So we'll keep.
I can zoom in from Germany, although that will be in the middle of the night. But
Well, that would be cool.
Yeah. I don't even think I'm going, but
I mean, we're so used to Zoom now. We could all be at the beach, wherever.
That's right. Doesn't matter where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, remote. But I think if we plan for July and hope no meeting in August, that sounds like a plan. But if we do, because things are changing so fast, then of course we can meet even wherever we are. I'm sure we can get a quorum, but hopefully we won't have to.
Right. All right, sounds good.
Mark, can you circulate we should circulate the bills so we can not let that drag out for vendors?
Yeah, no, they've been being paid, and maybe I can circulate via email anyway, so it doesn't consume a whole meeting. We can all just kind of review it at our leisure and just say looks good. And then have a quick.
That'd be good. All right.
Okay.
All right. So for right now, we'll plan on meeting Tuesday, July 21st, and we'll plan on the Finance Committee meeting about 15 minutes before the 7 o'clock meeting. But hearing no other further business, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, second. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
I saw your
this was great. But I do like in person because we get to chat a little more. But this was.
I did see your announcement on Instagram, so I'm glad now the community is going to get to meet you.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there. Woohoo! Thank you for everything you do. I'm very excited.
Yeah, no problem. I'm loving it so far. So
Good.
Welcome.
All right, we'll be in touch. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good night.